All right. The first video has gone up. I'm not too sure if there's anything I really need to change, so we'll see. Um, are you not tired all the goddamn time? Quite frankly, no, I'm kidding. Actually, I've been having a lot of energy, switching up my sleep schedule a little bit personally. Trying to just eat better, staying away from the Zaza. I'm very feel like which side's my good side. So I gotta figure out. Yeah. So being a queen is your there's comments on this. Sweet. All right. Being a queen is your birthright. I don't know what you mean by that. I don't know what the word queen means in this context, so we'll see. All right.
Are you not tired? Are you not tired of always people pleasing, making sure everybody around you
This is both something that can be super draining for some people, but also something that a lot of people can enjoy. I know some people do enjoy kind of taking care of others. Reciprocity is a big thing with this, I think, that you should definitely kind of check in and be like, hey, is this person taking away more than they're giving back? In which case, have a conversation with them. Maybe they have some stuff going on. Sometimes with people, relationships will be, 50-50, whatever term you want to use, where it's pretty even. Other times we're having bad times and like, hey, you need your friend to step up, or not need. It's nice when they step up. Or you might actually need your friend to step up and kind of help you out of funk, and just making sure that you kind of return that favor. Um, Definitely look at it with a critical lens, as heartless as it might be, especially like long-term stuff. Sometimes it's hard to do that with friends you've either had for a while, or even look at yourself. Do you have some friends that really stand out to you, who really pick you up when you're down, but are you kind of doing the same thing to them? Are you making sure they're doing all right, checking in with them? Reciprocity is a big thing, I think.
is okay, but you're the one suffering?
uh, Making sure to, I think some people are pretty good about hiding when they're suffering or kind of coping through it, so you have to also not shit on people if they don't pick it up, if you're good at hiding it. So making sure people know too, and be like, hey, um I'm feeling really down in the dumps. It would really help me out if like we go for like an outing next Friday or something, or like, hey, I want to play some games with you. I'm just not feeling that good. Kind of need to get out of this funk, and hanging out with friends can be a really good thing. Um, don't use it though as a mechanism to run away, especially if like alcohol or mind altering substances are involved. But something to look out for. I feel like I expand a lot on these topics. The last one was 2 hours long. I'm going to try to keep this a lot shorter. I have chores I need to do. I need to do dishes and other stuff.
Because you're the one always giving and never receiving anything?
True. Make sure
You're the
proportionality.
one not allowing yourself to receive?
I mean, I guess figure it out. That's a weird thing to put in there. Like I said, a lot of this stuff is too broad, and sometimes I feel like it misses a mark for me personally, but maybe the common audience for this likes
Aren't
it a
you
lot
tired
more.
of that? Aren't you tired of always being in your
Masculine and feminine energy stuff is very cringe. I don't know why this has become more of a thing. You can just like what you like. Oh no, it's strange. The masculine and feminine energy. Men and women too tend to do certain stuff, but I think certain people are just wired differently, enjoy certain things. I know personally with my wife, she's pretty happy being a bit more masculine. The masculine and feminine energy stuff just seems weird, but maybe it's just I've evolved past these gender ideas of energy. I have pure energy. Who knows? I don't. The masculine and feminine energy is kind of strange. Oh no.
energy, neglecting your power?
What is your power in this situation? I guess it's more vague kind of stuff. Honey.
In this video,
I don't like it when people call me honey personally, so I do cringe at that. I'm sure it's not like demeaning.
am going to show you how to be a queen and how to take your power back.
This sounds like a funny anime or manga setup where it's been done before, like someone has an iPhone or some shit, or like a YouTube channel they look at to get powers, but this time it's princess becomes queen through YouTube channel, transcendent YouTube channel. I'm not, there's some way you can word this. That'd be fucking hilarious. Even if it was bad and kind of sloppy, I like my trash. What can I say? I like my isekai, so.
So keep watching. Hi guys,
Watching.
my name is Liz and welcome
Hi,
back
Liz.
to my channel. I am so sorry that I did not upload for a while, but I got COVID.
Damn, that sucks.
And
3 years ago.
COVID,
Oh,
I could not
COVID.
make a new video, and this is the first day that I can leave my quarantine, and I'm actually feeling better.
Cool.
So today I decided to make this video. I was like, immediately when I'm better, I'm gonna get on it because my girls, my queens, need a video. So here it is. How do we become a queen?
Queen is connected to her feminine energy.
A woman
energy
becomes a queen when she's connected to her feminine energy. There is nothing more powerful than being connected to a feminine energy.
Feminine energy, the chaos dragon, all these vague terms. Maybe it connects better for certain people. Like I said in the previous video, I think you just need to know yourself. I forget, I'm sure a bunch of cultures kind of have this as a touchstone in certain philosophies or religions, but knowing yourself is quite literally not even half the battle. I think that was Sun Tzu. Is it know yourself and know the enemy, and that something, I don't know, I'm butchering the quote, I'm sure. Knowing yourself is probably like 80%, I would say, and the other 20% is just the world. Depending upon your situation, you know, you might be a bit more fucked in that ratio, absolutely, but like you still have some power of control. Tying back to dog training for a little bit, in a weird way, but a lot of psychology, you know, is pretty similar between us and animals, and a lot of actual psychology nowadays, you know, towards positive reinforcement and a bunch of other stuff and that kind of stuff, we actually learned from animals and then applied it to people. We do that with a lot of stuff, whether it be like products or testing on mice versus people first and controlled studies and stuff like that. If you don't think you can control your environment, the dogs that you would see who don't think they can change anything are super depressed, not confident at all, and scared of the world. Whereas other dogs, where they think they can manipulate an environment or change stuff in their environment or be rewarded for doing certain things in their environment, they're a lot more confident, a lot more outgoing, and I think they're having a lot more fun as well. So the feminine energy and masculine energy is just so fucking cringe to me, though. I'm not gonna lie. I'm sorry.
Can everybody tap into their feminine energy? Yes. Men can. It does not.
I'm curious what she's gonna describe as feminine energy and masculine energy, because I will say a common thing I've noticed with more like red pill life coaches is masculine energy is all the cool shit, and then feminine energy is just shit that sucks, which I think that's very telling on how you view the different genders. I feel like a lot of red pill people view women as lessers to be owned and conquered and all this shit. I'm curious to see how the feminine energy in this kind of ties into that potentially, or if it's like a good lens to view. I don't understand it. I've never felt masculine energy. I feel confident in myself or strong, but I don't tie these concepts innately to like a gender personally.
Matter your sexual orientation, if you're gay or not, it does not matter. If you're
Cool.
a woman, like whatever, everybody can tap into their feminine energy. Every person has masculine and feminine energies. To have the
I don't know why. Sorry, reading a lot of manga. Was it yin and yang energy? Yin is like cold and icy and feminine, and yang energy is masculine and fiery. This is just like a rewriting of that, and that still kind of felt cringe to me.
greatest success, you need to balance your masculine and your feminine energy.
I think some people, if we do take at face value the idea of feminine energy and masculine energy and kind of detangle it from what I commonly see and make it more less derogatory, I think, where it's just certain traits. I definitely do think a balance can be good, but also I think certain people have certain strengths and certain weaknesses. And sometimes I think you're better served tapping into your strengths than trying to cover up a weakness. And also keeping that in mind too when it comes to like relationship stuff. So maybe if you are a bit more masculine, Would you enjoy having another person who's a bit more masculine? Do you butt heads then? Do you find a sense of camaraderie? How does that play out? That can be interesting. Same thing with feminine too. Um, Balancing of it. I guess is masculine giving and feminine taking. If we go back to the earlier talk about if you're giving too much and not receiving, I'm confused.
But when a woman,
what's feminine energy?
her energy, the most dominant energy in her body is the feminine, and she uses the masculine for her work and things where she just has to get things done. That's when she becomes a queen and becomes very powerful. So what is feminine energy?
Yo, thank you.
Feminine energy is an energy that is connected to the soul.
This is fucking worthless. This part is. I'm sure, hopefully she gets a bit more into it, but this part is already like, you're fluffing up your paper. Is energy that's connected to the soul.
Feminine energy is about flow, it's dynamic, it's nurturing.
Okay, so dynamic doesn't do anything. Another fluffy descriptor word. Nurturing is interesting, I guess. Nurturing. What does nurturing mean? I would have to go deeper into this. Sorry. A lot of times people will use words and I feel like there's a bunch of baggage they use in it that I'm not too aware of. That's why I'm a little cautious with agreeing to some of this stuff. Because the nurturing thing is also something that's common with like red pill, that they'll talk about how women are good at being like maybe teachers or, you know, staying at home with the kids because they're a lot better nurturing energy.
It's about receiving.
Fuck. I was right earlier when I was like, oh, masculine is giving and feminine is receiving. Interesting how you would code those two together.
Feminine energy just is all about feeling and the heart.
Feminine energy is about feeling the heart. Don't tie it so strongly to gender. I would hope, I imagine the future, if and when I have kids, I'm hoping I will. I think that would be very fun to have. I would love to like, I don't know how to put this, steward someone into the world and like equip them well with it and like enjoy it with them. And, like equip them well for the world. I think I said that twice now. But I would want everyone to have this energy of like understanding your feelings in your heart and then kind of using them, having tools equipped so that you can affect that kind of stuff. Like if you're feeling shitty about something, do you change the situation? Do you change how you view it? A bunch of different things. I don't innately tie these though to certain gender.
Feminine energy is also located in the left side.
We need to talk about, okay, so we have the video game, Gamergate, alt-right pipeline. The foo-foo women spirituality pipeline also needs to be talked about. The left side of your body.
Side of your body. And what it differentiates from the masculine energy.
Oh shit, I did not mean to hit 2 times speed there. I don't know how I did that. Oops.
The masculine energy is stable, productive.
Okay, stable. Masculine energy. Just when I think about a lot of men, I would not consider them stable, but maybe that's just my experience. Or like when I think of prominent men, a lot of times I feel like they're fiery and explosive. I don't think it's stable. Productive. Sure, I guess. Getting things done.
Productive, getting things done, chasing, getting after goals. For example, if you have a glass of water, right?
Yes.
The water is.
Again, I feel like we listed off some cool things for the masculine, somewhat, because I think like hustle culture is kind of cringe as well, and I feel like this slightly taps into it. I see the expensive watch there. I'm guessing it's some expensive one. The apartment here looks pretty box standard, though. I'm not gonna lie, but if she lives in some fancy place, it might be expensive too.
Inside of the glass, the flow, the carelessness, the feeling of the water. That's.
I do not understand this at all. Maybe I don't comprehend. Sorry, this ain't clicking for me.
Energy, but the glass that makes the water stable, that makes the water protected, safe, provided for.
That's okay. I mean, we are talking about balancing this, so I guess it's not the worst thing. It's more like a vessel in water. This feels like it is. Maybe I have read too much manga and everything, or just too much stuff in general. It kind of ties into you need a good vessel in order to hold all these emotions and stuff like that, I guess. But it's weird how you gender that, because I feel like a lot of times the most stable people I do know were women. Also, I have, maybe it's just my personal experience, I have a lot of women in my family who are very career oriented and go getters and who did a bunch of stuff.
That's the masculine energy. Okay, so to become a queen
Mm-hmm.
and get in tune with your feminine energy, I am going to tell you.
Get in tune with your feminine energy. Once again, I don't know why you would gender this. I feel like you would be better served just trying to understand yourself and not like label it as that. I feel like this could lead you down some weird paths. I feel like we already have some weird ideas. Don't get me wrong, I understand the context of like history and how typically men did XYZ and women have done XYZ, but we're no longer in those contexts. Women are leading in going to college and education. I'm sure soon enough there are going to be a lot more leaders in the field just in general. I do know women typically from studies I've seen struggle to ask for raises and stuff like that, but I feel like over time that's going to change, especially with that education and with that. I'm going to tell you what a queen does. A queen heals her inner child. Interesting.
What a queen does. So,
calling back to the previous video, we talked about not being stuck in the past. I wonder how talking about your inner child and how that needs healing, is that not stuck in the past, or is that because that's something you're carrying with you? I don't understand the differentiation personally.
First of all, a queen heals her inner child. We all have our inner child.
I don't. Quite frankly, this is also another concept that just doesn't vibe with me, doesn't mesh. I am me. I think therefore I am. I am because I think, I guess, in a certain aspect or whatever. I don't. This feels very pasty when the previous video we talked about not being held on to the past. Because I also think about past me having certain ideas and those don't come to fruition in ways you would have liked. It's like expecting, a certain recipe sounds super good when you're young and then you try it out and you're like, oh, that's kind of shit. But I learned, I adapted, I'm new, I'm different from that me.
Inside of us, and when you neglect your inner child, it shows up as adult trauma.
Yes. This does sound kind of foo-foo to me. I know sometimes psychology, we talk about this. I've seen Dr. K kind of talk about certain like traumas in the past and how those metastasize and can affect us today. I don't know if it's that complex though. I feel like we are just beings that are constantly growing and adapting, and past situations inform us of future possibilities, and we try to almost adapt. And when certain things work, we're just going to repeat that more. If that makes sense.
Translates into you being an adult and not knowing how to react to certain things, not feeling comfortable with certain things,
Sure.
Feeling envious and jealous of other people because they have something that you never had.
When I think about Christianity and like the 7 deadly sins or any of these other ones where we take excess of emotions to be bad, it's always the excess. It's always the I think the phrase dosage makes the poison, where some things, a little bit of jealousy can be good fuel to the fire, but if you let it run rampant, your whole forest is on fire. That kind of fucking sucks. Other times though, I feel like you can use it as a good fuel, a good kindling to start off with, and then you can add on healthier things. I feel like locking yourself away from these complex emotions and saying it's bad or that I have an issue it's definitely something you can look at and think at and have an honest conversation, but is there innately anything wrong with being jealous of someone else if you use that, not to like disparage that person, but to be like, fuck, I want what they want. I see they have it, so I know I can get it. I personally have this mindset a lot. I don't know if it's jealousy, where I think I'm a pretty smart guy. So if someone can do something on the average, I believe that if I spent that time and energy, I could do the same thing. It's more of figuring out that drive. Um, or like having the drive, I should say, or figuring out the drive. Sometimes you kind of have to not think about the task at hand and think about the future and use that to propel you forward. But
and things like that. So it's very important to hear your inner child.
what problems do I have with the inner child thing? Let me think, because some part of it doesn't feel right to me. I feel like, I haven't fully cemented this idea, so it's pretty loose. So don't take it too much as gospel. That if you try to work on your inner child, you're ignoring your adult present. But maybe this is also because I just don't understand the idea and how it relates to people personally. It's just not clicking.
How I would suggest you can heal your inner child is by, for example, if you were younger and you like to draw,
Yeah.
pick up drawing again now that you're older. That's
when I think of heal, I think of having a wound or having sort of ailment. I don't think of like, oh, I used to do this, I should do it again. I could see it if like maybe someone shamed you out of drawing or something like that. I just don't feel like this is very one-to-one. Do fun things. Is this, I might have found why this is not resonating for me is because I've never been ashamed or dissuaded from stuff I like when I like it. I enjoy it. Fuck it. Why? I'm not hurting anybody. Who cares? Is that why? Is this like some clawing back of almost like a hustle culture where you suppress your own desires and wants and like fun activities you can do? Is that why you're saying this? I'm confused. Once again, I'm trying to connect this all in my own way.
Connect your inner child again. Just be
Connect to your inner child by drawing again. Okay.
Just doing things that you used to do when you were younger. Maybe you liked making movies, maybe
be artistic. Absolutely. I liked recording videos when I was younger. I had a bunch of fun with friends. I'm hoping to pick that up again. Just scheduling wise, it makes it difficult. There are, I will say, certain limitations as an adult. I think sometimes we do look at the past. I think this is another problem I have with that inner child is we look at the past with rose tinted glasses where we are a lot more ignorant of the world. And in that ignorance, there is bliss, but also the reward of struggling through life is life itself. And in that struggle, there are definitely hardships, but overall, I feel like you should orient your life such that the struggling is worth it, whether it be through stuff you can do, friends, family, activities. Maybe you even enjoy the struggle. Personally, I think I sometimes enjoy the struggle. I like a little bit of fighting back, but this feels not, I guess, important to me, but maybe it is important to some people.
Making videos like I did, and then now I'm making YouTube videos, which I enjoy.
This is after the second video she's ever made, which is interesting. Man, she got 2.7 million views on this. Man, it's been 3 years.
I'm really healing my inner child by doing that. Look at it as...
What kind of videos were you making? Or maybe she has some separate YouTube channel, I will admit, but this seems strange to me. As a child, you did making videos as a life instructor, or am I missing some part? I very well could be, I will admit.
Like, what did I enjoy? What did I love doing?
If you're out of touch with what you love and enjoy, I could definitely see this being useful, but I don't understand tying this to a child concept. It can almost feel, personally, this is just what first thought in my head, it feels dismissive to say, oh, I enjoyed this as a child, I'm going to do it to heal my inner child. Motherfucker, you just enjoy it. Who gives a fuck? Like, rest and relax. R&R. Fucking mentally, physically, I'm sure spiritually, if you believe in that stuff, relaxation helps out quite a bit. So, like, just enjoy the thing.
When I was a child and connect to that again. Also, what I love to do is just take myself and hug myself. Like sometimes I just don't feel good, and the only person I have right then and there is me.
That's
And I just take my
a little sad, but I mean, I guess good for you. Like, not like disparaging, but like, yeah, you know, hug yourself. Once again, I don't. The whole does nothing for me. The whole like viewing myself as a other and needing to like, I don't know. It's strange to me personally.
I just hug myself and I say it's gonna be okay. Like being kind to yourself, being loving, showing
Yeah,
loving,
like
showing love towards yourself, towards your body. It's a way to heal your inner child, and it's a way to
you are focusing on the past once again, which it sounds so different from what that first video talked about, which don't get hold onto the past. I guess if you do have a broken arm in the past, you need to get it fixed, but also like you can't fix it in the past. So maybe just focus on the here and now. Like what kind of steps can you take right now to enjoy it? I don't know.
to love yourself again, which is so beautiful and important. The thing a queen does is a queen receives. A queen receives help, a
Sure.
queen receives compliments, a queen can receive gifts.
The materialistic nature of this, I once again do not care for that much. Compliments and gifts and help. Absolutely do receive help. If you're a person who struggles to ask for help, definitely kind of change that. Some people enjoy asking for help. You like, and just make sure you kind of return the favor. We all need to be, we're social creatures, you know? Why not? I'll scratch your back now. Fucking 2 weeks from now, when you need your back scratch, hit me up. You know, the old like, yeah, my friends are helping me move out. I got them a couple beers and a pizza, XYZ, however you want. You exchange that stuff. Is good. The gifts, I wonder.
She receives. When I used to be in my masculine energy, I would always be like, oh no, I don't need help from anybody. I'm gonna do it myself, and I'm gonna do everything myself. And because
no one person is an island, quite frankly. I think nowadays too, especially with how far we have advanced as a society with technology and everything, there's not enough time nor enough specialization you can do where you could do everything by yourself. You are going to have to rely on other people at some point. I think this is a problem we are running into, is that just because you're an expert in one field doesn't mean that you are in other fields now as well. But that's like a broader issue society. I think it's happening.
I want to say
or
that
people
I
are
did
having.
this on my own.
Why would you value saying I did it on my own? I feel like I'm trying to think. Would I value a house more if I built it myself or if my wife and I built one? I would value it more if my wife and I built it, or even if I had friends help, even if I had family help. I think that is something you should take a look at if you do have that idea. Why is it so important that you be the one to do it? Are you afraid other people are going to mess up? Why is that? Have you been let down in the past, and that's something you just need to either accept that can happen, like, hey, people let each other down. We live in an imperfect world. Things happen, things change, happens. Or is it more of a, if I fuck up, I need it to be on me and stuff like that? I don't know.
But a queen is smart. Because a queen knows she can do it on her own. She can.
This almost stems back into that delusion thing I talked about in that first episode, where you shouldn't be delusional. This feels like the stereotypical saying of you shouldn't, you think it smells like roses, or however it goes. Like, understand the limitation of your own being, and then you can work to expand that, obviously, but also like people are a multiplier on each other. I feel like sometimes it can be like a subtraction or even like a divide, but like I feel like when I'm playing a game by myself, I enjoy it 10, 10 points, we'll say, out of whatever imaginary number. But if I play with friends, that's like a multiplicative. It's not I'm adding another 10 because there's another person there. It's like that motherfucker's like a times 5. I'm not gonna lie. I'm playing some games with a friend right now. I don't think I would enjoy it that much by myself, but when I play with a friend, we get to be goofy, we get to do shit, we get to crack jokes, like way overall enjoyable experience. I think that's also too why some people say this is like a pejorative. Friend slop games are so popular right now is because hanging out with friends is just fucking fun, dude. Just give me some tools so I can. I play D&D. That's some of the most fun I have is playing D&D. And you know, oh, I can do it myself. She can.
But if somebody offers to help you and offers to lend you a hand, she does not refuse to accept.
You can. Make sure you have a valid reason why.
Why? Because a queen knows that she deserves those things.
She's looking at notes or something over here. Okay. She knows she deserves those things. She deserves the help? Yeah, true. You deserve help, I believe, in most situations, in most cases. Oh, you guys, I'm going to talk a little bit just so you can hear my frog croaking. Very cute, very adorable.
She knows that she deserves love. And some people show their love in giving.
True.
Especially
as a man, someone who loosely identifies as a man, identifies myself first and foremost. I want to identify as like a man first. I think that's a little strange. Personally, if you do identify with your gender first and not like, I don't know, your mental self, I think that's interesting. You should look at that. Or maybe incorporate it into yourself such that you like identify as me, but that me is feminine. Maybe I'm just viewing it in a different terms or through a different lens. Do I like giving as a man? That's Oscar, by the way. They were croaking so big. Oh. Yeah? Any more to add? Thank you for that commentary, Oscar. No, I like reciprocity. I like fucking give and take. Like, hey, once again, I scratch your back, you scratch mine. I feel like my history teacher had something deep and profound growing up about that kind of stuff. I can't remember it, but I feel like that core idea settled into my being of like, you know, I'm gonna help you out, and I'm not gonna expect things out of it, but also like, if I do help you out, I think it is a strike against you if you don't ever help me out when I need it, or like you don't even ask or do anything like that, right? Like, you know, you mow your neighbor's lawn because they're out of town for a bit and they appreciate it, but maybe like when you're gone for vacation, they don't even like put your packages inside your house or even keep them safekeeping or something like that. I'd be like, oh, this is a little strange. I want reciprocity. It should be give and take, especially because sometimes when we give stuff, it's like a multiplier. It's more value added. And sometimes when we need stuff, especially when we're down or something like that, that's also a multiplier. You know, sometimes, you know, a cup of water for me right now isn't as valuable as it is to someone who's fucking dying of dehydration in the desert. Those two things are not the same. So kind of keep that in mind too, that sometimes as valuable as you think your time is in that current moment, it could be more valuable to someone else. And making sure you understand that that goes both ways as well.
Men in their masculine energy, the way they show love is by giving.
No. Well, I mean, maybe different people have different ways they show love. I don't know how I feel about the personality types or love language. Honestly, I feel like it's a bit too bland, but a lot of people seem to identify it and just use it as a tool to kind of, if you use it as a tool to start conversations about how you like to show love and like, oh, I'm thinking about you when I do this, that's cute. Make sure you do tell your partner though what you like, or even friends, like, hey, I really appreciate it when you give me like a small gift when you go on trips, and it just shows you're thinking about me. I really appreciate that. Even though you're having a vacation, you're having a fun time, like I was still there in the back of your head. Like that feels very sweet, you know, stuff like
gifts.
that.
Now imagine you as a woman all the time when your man wants to do something nice for you, or like
Who, maybe, once again, just my life experience, who are these people who don't like receiving things this much where you would deny it, especially from like a partner or something?
give you a gift or take you on a trip or do whatever, and
Take you on a trip. I feel like maybe, am I just poor? Is that what this is? I'm just poor, so the gift giving is like extra yucky and a little eh? Take you on a trip or do whatever. I mean, in a
you're always
relationship,
like,
it's
no,
very cute, don't get me wrong, but
no, I don't want that. No, I can do it for myself. How does that make him feel?
let me see. If I try to give a gift to my wife and she said no, I don't want it. It depends on the way she's saying it. I just, who are these people? I would have to see how they interact in their day to day to feel like this advice is worthwhile. Because I just almost refuse to believe that people are like this. But maybe that's just the limit of my knowledge, quite frankly, or my personal experience.
Because he, in his masculine energy, he wants to do those things for you out of love.
Yuck.
He does not want to control you.
Some
He
people
does not
do.
want to.
Some people can, like, they give you stuff as like a debt. It should never be a debt. I don't know. Maybe some other language has a good way to describe this in a word, and it's just the English language that's limited, or maybe it's my vocabulary. Um, it should not be a solid debt, but it should definitely be on the scale, if that makes sense. It's not like it's like we should try to keep these even. Like they can go back and forth like within this range, or maybe even every now and then this, and then we correct it back, and maybe it's like this or this and this. We should always reciprocity. Reciprocity it makes the world go round. I
Diminish
think.
your existence and be like, oh, you're so much below
I think if you think like this too, you should think about why you think like that. Did you have past people who have done it to you in that way, and try to make sure you're being honest about that to people and be like, hey, I don't like big gifts because whenever it's happened in the past, someone's tried to use it against me. But that is something though I think you should try to personally, I think that's something you should try to get over. Get over sounds mean. Get over. Okay, I better phrase this. Heal from? Heal from sounds kind of dismissive too. Something you should change. Because your past experiences like that shouldn't limit other people. Oh no. I need to think a bit more full about that. I do think though, personally, just off the top the dome ski, that you should kind of think about that. You're so much below me. I've never received a gift and thought that. That's strange. I wonder, she might just live in a different world compared to me, or a different bubble, however you want to phrase it.
me. I will give you this or that. No, he's trying to show you love.
I don't like it too. I think the problem I have, and I might be coming to understand this, is I feel like gift giving sometimes, depending upon the gift, if it's just a price tag item, kind of a cop out. I feel like the thoughtfulness is probably the underlying thing that I personally would value, and I think you should value. If someone gave me $1,000 watch, I'd be cool. But personally, I don't like watches. They fucking pinch my skin all the time. They fucking grab my arm hair. I'm a hairy motherfucking part werewolf or Sasquatch or something. Maybe a Wendigo. Who knows? But as opposed to if my wife, I like her art quite a bit. If she drew something for me, financially, right now, I would take that $1,000 watch and fucking pawn shop that shit. So long as the other person's fine with it, or just take the $1,000, quite frankly. But if I was in a good financial situation, I would just take that art piece every single fucking time. Yeah, it's weird. I can't tell if I'm right about this feeling or not, but I feel like I am. I feel like the gift thing is a little cringe.
And you're not accepting it. A queen never does that. A queen simply, when she gets a compliment, a gift, oh really? Thank you so much. I appreciate that you did this for me. And she takes it. That person will be more inclined to do.
I think it's very telling that after you said thank you so much, I appreciate that. Now I haven't watched this. That person will be more inclined to do more for you. That I don't think is a good mindset to have. This feels yucky.
More for you.
Respect you more? I just don't know how that follows. That first part is yucky. Respect you more. You took a gift from me? If you can take critique, if you view critique or like constructive criticism as a gift, then maybe sure, but like a gift, I respect you more for taking a gift. I don't say I would respect someone less for taking a gift. It's just weird that you would tie respect to that action.
Respect you more, and it
creates a loving energy to take a gift. Receiving a gift with heartfelt intentions, or even just like intentions in general that are nice, I think that's the loving energy there. Receiving one, I don't think really creates that much. You can, I think. Oh no, this feels strange.
creates
Once
a
again,
loving energy. This is something I even have to teach my mom, because my mom is I grew up with a mom that's very much in her masculine energy. All the things that I know.
I had to learn what? I think about Kendrick Lamar's song "I Deserve It All," and how he starts off talking about how he deserves things, and then he goes on to list how his family members, his friends, and everybody deserves it as well. I think that's a good mindset to have. Like, me and mine, and hopefully you're proud of this broader, just people in general, deserve like a good life just as a basis. I feel like you might have veered off in a bad direction on this. I'll see further.
I had to learn myself. She's a great mom, a wonderful woman, a very powerful.
A great mom, a very powerful woman. What do you mean by powerful in this situation? Like, was she like very good in business in her career? Powerful is such a weird word. When I think powerful, I just think of like physical power, and I don't have an innate like thing tied to this. Whereas like good to be powerful and is not good to be powerful, not powerful, if that makes sense. In this day and age, there's different sorts of power, so just a blanket powerful, I'm not sure what she means. She was not in tune with her feminine energy.
Woman, but she was not in tune with her feminine energy. And even now, when I want to buy her a bag or a designer bag, she's like, no, I don't want to keep
bag or a designer bag.
Keep your money to yourself. Like, whatever, you buy it for yourself. Whatever do you.
I feel like it's a very typical mom response, yes, but also I want to buy her a bag or designer bag. That's interesting. The materialistic underline of this, I feel like, is a big problem with a lot of life coaches. I feel like it's a problem with hustle culture as well. I feel like if we think about a bunch of different things a human needs, you can think of, was that the 5 things a person needs, like food, shelter, clothing, yada yada, and then psychological stuff. I feel like some people don't understand the psychological want for like maybe fulfillment in their life, and a bunch of other stuff that goes into this. So they really try to max out the previous ones where I want the best food, I want the best clothes, but those are nice, yeah. They're still not going to fill that void from missing in other areas. I feel like, personally.
And I told her, Mom, listen, you're a woman. You have to.
Why don't you just go, Mom? Don't worry about it. I've done so much. You've done so much for me. I just want you to have like a nice bag, a nice gift. You know, you can flex on all the other moms you chat with or whatever, or even I just think it would look really lovely on you, mom. This is a little strange.
To get in tune with your feminine energy. I want to do this thing for you.
True.
And you telling me no.
This is strange. We go back and forth on whose perspective we're going on, and I feel like we don't have a lot of overlap. It feels very self-centered in a way that is actually harmful to the self, I guess. You telling me no makes me feel bad. It feels like a guilt trip. Ugh, I don't.
Makes me feel bad because I want to do this out of love because
Okay.
I love you.
Okay.
So I told her you should be more open to receive, and now my mom started doing that. Like it's so funny because like
Cool.
now I'm parenting her. So whenever somebody's like, yeah, I want to buy this for you, do this, she's like, okay, yes, do it.
Okay, yes, do it. If I gave a gift to someone and it was very thoughtful and said, okay, yes, do it. A lot of this gift giving and everything feels artificial. It doesn't feel genuine. I think the genuineness is what's really missing from a lot of this and why it feels kind of yucky to me.
You know, she's allowing people to treat her right.
Treat her right by getting gifts. You do not need gifts to treat someone right. They are nice, yes.
And that is what a queen does. She balances her masculine and her feminine
Yin and
energy.
yang.
So how I like to do it is
I use
my feminine energy with my family, with my relationships, how I interact with people, with my followers as well, by giving love, by receiving the love that I get, by nurturing, by feeling.
You just talked about where you're masculine is the dumbest fucking thing still. Feminine is receiving love, receiving all this stuff, and being nurturing. Nurturing, I feel like, is still giving, though. I don't know. Just these categories feel so lame. I'm just gonna say lame because I have some other words to describe it, but all stupid as well. But also so limiting. Sometimes I feel like people have a problem and life coaches will give them something that maybe might be a bit better for the short term. I feel like you get stuck in a rut then if you hold with this for a while. I feel like you might, this is like a, imagine if I could give you a drug and the next 10 years of your life are going to be fantastic, but the next like 30 after that are going to be awful. Like it's better than now, yes, but long term you're going to be paying for it. It's kind of how I feel about this stuff personally.
By just being in tune, and my masculine energy I use for my work.
Mm-hmm.
It's business, it's very different. I have to get these things done.
I sometimes wonder if the whole idea of how businesses are ran now, from like obviously women weren't allowed in the workforce for quite a while in the past. We've set these systems in place now that have become self-perpetuating, and I feel like a lot of people don't look at it and critique. I feel like now we've come to the era of like gentle parenting and like kind of being softer with kids and like teaching and showing, as opposed to this like expecting people to know better from the start. And I feel like that's better. I don't know why we still hold these old like systems. I feel like they have been in place for a while when it comes to work as to still be true, even though I think they could use quite a bit critique themselves as well. But maybe I'm wrong.
I have deadlines, I have to do them, then I'm a totally different person. But when it comes to all the other,
this also feels weird because I feel like you're not being a true self, a whole person. It sounds like sometimes you get to be the water on the ground like a puddle, and other times you get to be the glass. I feel like you're not truly balancing both if you feel like you're more masculine in one setting, more feminine in another. Shouldn't you be like truly balanced at all times? I don't know. It feels a little strange to me. Don't get me wrong. I understand certain situations kind of require a different set of, mask that you wear for that scenario. It just feels a little strange to
The
me.
aspects in my life, I love leading in my feminine, always receiving,
Leading in your feminine. What do you mean by that?
always feeling good, always being in flow, feeling sensual, feeling good about myself.
I feel like we have the reverse thing too now, where like there's some cool stuff she talks about with the masculine, but kind of fucking sucks. You're giving, you are working hard, you are God, there's a couple of other ones, but those are kind of fucking shitty. I'd rather be pampered. I'd rather be in my feminine fuck.
That's really what I love
But
to
this
hear.
is what it
Queen
is.
understands that what other people say about her are none.
It is, but it isn't. Um, Sometimes people say some shit and it's not true. Other times people say some shit and maybe it's all true. Other times, most of the time, I think probably maybe like 90% of the time, there might be some nugget of truth in that situation. Just be honest with that kind of stuff.
None of her business.
It is kind of your business because they're saying about you. They're a person who's interacted with you. They haven't interacted with you like online wise, then yeah, I can understand. But still, there's a certain response they're having to you. It's not the worst idea to try and understand that. I don't think that would take away from you as a person. I feel like you can learn from that. Like, if every time I was interacting with a person they thought I was short and curt, and they said this behind my back, I would be like, oh, maybe I need to have more friendly conversations with people and like open up a bit. Maybe I am too like work work mode. Maybe I need to joke around a bit more. Maybe I need to loosen up a bit. This, once again, I feel like you are. If we go back to the foundation analogy I like to use last time, not only do we have a false foundation, we don't even have glass walls. We have fucking the curtain drapes painted as walls. And I feel like it only takes one hurricane, not even a hurricane, one rough storm to topple this. I feel like sometimes people get so locked into that they still believe the walls are up, even if they've been knocked down or your sheets have been blown away.
I'm gonna tell you something. When you are in your feminine energy, when you are trying to look better, when you are trying
I don't know why we tie this to a gender.
to feel better, a lot of people are gonna start hating.
Who? Who? I'm so confused by this. Who? I. This feels like a preemptive, like, dissuadement from any critique other people might be able to have from you. You just get to say they're haters. Stop drinking the haterade. I'm just going through my self-loving feminine energy era. Like, what the fuck? Don't hold me back. Get out of my way. Don't talk about me. Like, no, sis. Right now, you're kind of just a bad person. Maybe take a little look. It, and if you're a truly confident person, I feel like you can be like, oh, let me tune into this. Let me see. Like, let me just for a moment assume this is true and see like if I assume this is true, does it fit in nicely with past things that have happened? Does it fit in nicely if I change this, how I could see people viewing me differently? If I projected this onto another person and I think about it, how would that change how I think? I don't like this part either.
Why? Because
Other people shouldn't be gospel, but you should at least hear what they say, I guess. That's kind of what I'm getting at.
hate what they cannot have.
What is what's this like inverse of jealousy where you're not jealous of other people, you think everyone else is jealous of you? What is this called? I need to know. I'm pulling up my phone. What's this called? All right, I'm going on Google here. Sorry for the little pit stoppy. If you think everyone jealous, give me a good word for this. Delusional jealousy. No. I feel like the Germans have a bunch of words that are very poetic, and I like that personally. I'm gonna stop it here for a quick spell and pick it back up. Alright, I am back.
Men hate women like that because they cannot have her.
Sorry, I missed something.
They're gonna start hating you. Better when you are trying to feel better. A
lot
lot
of people oh yeah, the hate thing.
You. Why? Because people hate what they cannot have.
I know. No, this is not true. This is weird. Who hates stuff they cannot have? I don't understand this. I feel like if you hate something, you need introspection. You need a good reason why. I hate a bunch of things, and I think I always have valid reasons. Don't just assume like, oh, it's because they can't have me. Maybe some people, very rarely though. I don't think this is like enough of a percentage of a people where this should be a problem. But maybe, like I said, in her social circles, this is a problem. I don't know.
Men hate women like that because they cannot have her.
This is, once again, some projection shit. This is like, oh, you were ugly anyway, kind of shit. I don't know.
Women hate women like that because they cannot be her.
Sure.
Instead of becoming a better version of themselves, they try to just...
Instead of trying to become a better version of yourself, I feel like you're deluding yourself and actually stopping real growth. That's how I feel about this, personally. Actually, thank you. This made me realize my full kind of
make that
full circle.
Feel worse about herself. So
if you do, by the way, take some pleasure in other people's downfall, a little bit of Schadenfreude, here's a treat. Who am I to say no? Who am I? It's a little treat. It's when it runs your life. Once again, moderation with all these kind of more negative emotions. Like, someone cuts me off and I'm fucking driving, I'm gonna hate that motherfucker for a good couple of minutes, maybe even like an hour or two, and then I'll chill out and let it fly off. Like, that's how I decompress.
Queen understands that what other people are saying are just projections of their own insecurities.
This, I feel like, is actually a true projection of your insecurity. I feel like you should be able to have the confidence to understand where people are coming from those comments and then make a judgment about whether or not it's true. I think your filter is too far forward. You shouldn't start with anything bad someone says about me is untrue. You should go, let me hear it. Let me parse it through myself or other friends or anything. Do I still think this is true, or even has like a nugget of truth in it? No? Cool. Toss in the trash. Yes? Okay, how can I incorporate like this new information into my life to make it better in some way, shape, or form?
You really have to watch what you judge other people on.
True.
Like, for example, when I had an eating disorder, right? I was like always trying to get skinny. I was like, I would not eat or anything. I would sometimes I wouldn't even drink water. I was really bad into my eating disorder. I would judge people that were overweight.
That is a bad thing, but also like, why were you? She doesn't have to divulge this, but like, I feel like the problem here, yes, you are judging overweight people before she gets too much into it. Also, I think the problem is you had an eating disorder, and what started that? I feel like that'd be a good thing to kind of like go over and tackle.
I would judge them and be like, oh my god, they do not have the willpower to not eat or whatever, and these things.
The funny thing too is try to think of the flip side and see if like someone might say it or someone might think it's true and try to like combat it. So if you think of the flip side of this, actually you have no willpower because you can't be fine with your own existence, like your own body and stuff like that. Actually, you have no willpower because you can't take I don't know if her eating disorder is because of other people or self-image or both. Usually too, I feel like people have a bad self-image because of other people, of what they say, and we just incorporate it into ourselves. Like, think about that as well, because I feel like we can sometimes have some harmful ideas, and if we inverse it and kind of think about it, we're like, oh shit, actually, if I flip it, it's still bad. Maybe there's some like parallels you can draw and see like your thinking's bad
I
too.
would say to myself in my head. Obviously, I would never ever say that to anybody, but
Even if you did, you can find forgiveness for yourself. I don't know. I feel like another issue I have with social media nowadays is everyone wants um, a clean journey of progress, or you start there and you're like morally lucky with things, but life is not clean and nor is progress a lot of times. Sometimes you do take like 3 steps forward, 1 step back, and that's fine. I don't know why someone would hate you if for every mile you ran you had to take a couple of breaks. Who cares? Or even if you had to walk backwards for a bit for whatever reason, like understand that, have compassion, obviously kind of apologize for that and try to move forward, and hopefully the other person does
I
too.
would think those. And now that I got out of my eating disorder and I look,
Why does she? I don't know if it's because it's too personal. I feel like she's talking about it a lot already. I feel like if you're a life coach, you would want to talk about like your eating disorder and why you think you had it and steps you to kind of combat that. Excuse me. I feel like it's interesting. She doesn't talk about that.
back at it, I can see that I was judging them because I had an eating disorder. You know,
Yeah.
I was just projecting. People do that all the
Um. Are you projecting? Yeah. Is there maybe a hint of truth to it? Also. Yeah. But also, I feel like if we think about willpower, I wonder. I feel like a lot of people don't understand how much genetics come into play with that, and how much like environmental stuff and everything like that. So,
time. Like when they see a
only in competition is herself. The fucking lame ass thing. Nah, have other people be a benchmark. Have some friendly competition. I think that's one thing that I actually really like from like masculine stuff is typically friendly competition. I like that. I feel like, excuse me,
woman that
that was disgusting. I feel like sometimes women are a bit too pull downy. You should you should have competition that inspires and makes you want to do better, but you shouldn't try to yank them down. Like, you
that's
know,
confident and secure in herself, they will always try to bring her down.
once
Why?
again with this,
Because they are insecure themselves.
I someone needs to get me a word for the I think everyone else is jealous of me. Like wizard. My wizard. No.
When people are confident, they are not threatened by other people's confidence.
When you are confident, you are not threatened by other people's critique. Namely, instead of being a wall that blocks it, you would become a fine mesh strainer that could filter out the good from bad.
Why? Because queens can recognize queens.
This so if we had the Disney princess era where we felt like it was teaching girls to be infantilized almost in a sort and kind of powerless, I feel like this is an overcorrection in a weird way, where you still want to be given stuff, you still want to receive stuff, but I feel like you're not putting in that much work on yourself, if that makes sense.
We do not compete with each other, we compete with ourselves.
Maybe compete just has a negative connotation for her and like for women in general. Why not just have some friendly competition? Like iron sharpens iron kind of deal, you know?
The only person I am trying to be better than is the person that I was yesterday.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. This feels strange.
There's literally
It's
nobody, no
once again another broad into being useless kind of thing.
no model, no nothing that can phase me because they're not me.
Why would
Honestly.
why would they phase you though? I feel like this is a lot more interesting. You say the blanket rule of not competing with other women, but this almost reeks of insecurity when you say, "Oh, I would not be scared if there was another model." The assumption that you would be, I think, is more of a issue. Like, why would you be like?
And they might be prettier than me, they might be smarter, whatever. I don't care, they're not me. And that's how
have benchmarks from other people. It's not the worst thing. Have friendly competition. Like I said,
I look
moderation.
at it. I can acknowledge another woman's beauty, and I love beauty. I love women. Like I just really am very supportive of them. That
Backbite or engage in rumors.
gets me into my other point. Queen does not backbite.
I guess backbite is like the lesser form of backstab. It's funny because the human mouth is actually fucking disgusting when it comes to bacteria. If someone bites you, emergency room, get that shit checked out. There's a bunch of bacteria that does awful stuff to your body if a human bites you.
And does not spread rumors about.
Should you gossip about people? Honestly, a little bit of it as a treat, so long as it's not immune spiritation, I think is quite honestly fine. We're social creatures. We talk about shit that's going on. Like, oh, hey, did you hear about XYZ? Obviously, you shouldn't try to backbite, but I think you can have ominous conversations and almost do like sanity checks with friends. You'd be like, hey, I saw, I'm going to use a random name, Nicholas. He was going out with like another girl. I saw him at the club and he was like making out with her. Like, do you guys think I should? Is that rumor spreading? Is that, I don't know where that would fall, you know?
People. And I specifically did not say gossip, because gossip, everybody
gossips.
Everybody, like when you hear something or like, oh my god, this happened,
whatever.
Okay,
true.
But there is a difference. There's a difference between just talking and gossiping and being like, oh yeah, this and that, blah blah.
Maybe.
And there's a difference between spreading disgusting rumors about people and backbiting and saying like, oh my god, she's so ugly or whatever.
What kind of circles do you guys run into where this is an issue?
And these things.
Maybe I'm too grown from this, because she is like 23 at this point, so maybe it is for a younger audience.
And I'm gonna tell you why a queen does not do that. Like I said, a queen is spiritually aware.
A queen is spiritually aware.
When you are backbiting and spreading rumors about people, your level of vibration is
not the holy trinity of foo-foo shit. God damn, I hope she fucking hits on some like Aquarius, Sagittarius, or some other fucking astrological sign shit as well, just so I can get everything on my bingo card done. Low vibration, it's just a bad thing to do. Are we so scared of talking about like, hey, it's kind of just a shitty thing to do, to backbite and have rumors about people? Like, talking shit behind people's back isn't a good thing. Why are we coding it in this language? I feel like I don't like it.
It's very low. When you are vibrating on a low level, the things you manifest into your life are very bad.
This is like an ultimate concoction of all like weirdo kind of life coach shit I don't care for.
Like, you cannot manifest your desires while being a person like that. And even if you manifest them, they will not.
This all seems so self-focused. I think, one, this feels very materialistic, just on average. I'm not talking about in this specific scene. Two, it feels so like you're only thinking about your gain. Like, oh, why do you not want to backbite and spread rumors about people? Not because it's a bad thing to do, not because it's a shitty thing to do, but because you're going to be a lower vibration and it's going to affect your manifestation abilities. And even if something does manifest, it's not going to stay for long. This feels so unempathetic to other people, quite frankly. It feels yikes.
Stay for long. They will not stay, or something bad will happen.
The only way I can understand not doing a bad thing is if it affects me negatively downstream, like,
because that's just how the universe works.
Once again, the world is chaotic. Trying to assign a system to it just does not fall so neatly. The only constant in the world is that it is not constant, I would say. Except for the laws of the universe, those seem to be pretty static, but also our ability to understand them might be so limited that it just seems static on the aggregate. Who knows? Even if she does lead with her second example being like it's just a bad thing to do, it's a shitty thing to do, why would you even lead in with like a, how would you, you didn't even tie it in with the previous one where like, hey, you shouldn't be around people who are backbiting you and stuff like that. That's just a shitty thing to feel, isn't it? Like if you don't want to feel that, you shouldn't do it onto others, kind of thing. But instead, it's very like self-centered.
The reason why a queen does not engage in back.
Queen knows that networking and relationships with people are very important. I hope this is not another selfish reason.
Backbiting or rumors is because when you are a person that is constantly spreading rumors and coming to other people like, oh my god, did you hear about this, and you know, other people, and I've seen it in my environment, you know how they talk about you, like, oh my god, stay clear of her, she gossips too much, she talks too much, stay clear of her. People talk.
No, you're not even gonna lead in with it. It's just a shitty thing to do. What the fuck?
About you like that. People will not try.
Becoming selfish is the best thing I ever did.
You make yourself look very insecure and just jealous and envious.
Me innately say being jealous is bad. I don't know if I ask her why being jealous is bad, she could give me a reason besides it just is bad. I wish she would expand on it. I'm not a religious person. Some of the stuff Joshua Graham, I know, video game, Fallout, New Vegas says, I feel like is true in a lot of that stuff. Like, it's just bad for you, and you'll feel bad about it, and you wouldn't want it done unto you. Like, come on.
Of other people, and people will less likely be willing to tell you stuff because you're the newspaper of the town, you know.
You're also just a shitty person for doing it, once again.
And also, that will damage not only your friendships, but your business relationships.
Not only will it damage your friendships. Fuck that, who cares? Business relationships.
And people will not want to network with you or just...
Yeah, because you're a shitty person. Just
they can see what kind of person...
Be a nice person. Be a kind person.
You are.
Don't be so kind and so nice that people take the fucking shirt off your back. Because you still, at the end of the day, have to exist as well. But don't be so self-centered on everything. It's
very dangerous. It's much better to keep your mouth shut than put yourself in a position like that. Other thing.
Keep your mouth shut, then put yourself in a situation like that. Instead of looking at this as a problem behavior and trying to understand why you do it, is it your own jealousy? Is it your own insecurity? What part of this do you not like about other people? Why are you doing this? What are you trying to achieve with it? How do you feel when you do it? All these other questions. You just say you shouldn't do it because it puts problems in your life, such as your friendships and then business relationships. Yikes.
A queen does is a queen does not settle or compromise.
You need to settle or compromise. You just need to understand where that line is, quite frankly. Perfection is the enemy of progress because people want the perfect thing now. And they don't realize that a lot of times, one, we're never going to have perfection, and two, the journey towards perfection can be enlightening in its own way, and you can understand new things that you wouldn't have originally thought as well. Oh, I mean, of course we all, oh wait.
I mean, of course, we always have to compromise a little bit in life because that's just how it is, especially in relationships.
Yes, okay, cool, based.
But when she has certain boundaries.
So, yeah, if you have boundaries and you know them to be true, absolutely. Re-examine them every now and then just to see if, you know, do those still hold true. You know, sometimes You gotta have dams up for the river, but if the river's dried up, do you need that dam? Kind of thing, like stuff like that. Yeah.
And she has certain expectations for people in her life, and they are simply disrespecting it and not willing to meet it. A queen will never stay.
See if those boundaries are also what's the word I'm looking for? Fair. Fair and what's the word? They don't always have to be reciprocal. Um, some people can have certain boundaries set and the other person can be fine without them. Like they won't have it enforced on their side. That's perfectly fine, by the way.
You will never ever be in a relationship with a true queen while you're disrespecting her.
True, don't take disrespect from a partner. Also, don't view everything from a partner innately as disrespect. Perhaps it might be critique. Otherwise, too, certain people just take certain critiques in different ways better. So have a conversation with your partner about that.
Because she will leave. She will rather be alone. She will rather be crying and lonely than being bad company.
Be fine with yourself. Build a good support system, good support network. This is very funny coming from a woman who married someone 7 months in. I can't talk that much shit. It's just interesting.
That's how true she is to herself and to her boundaries.
The big thing with this too is not only do you need to set these boundaries, you need to hold with them and have the discipline that even in scenarios where you might want to not hold them for whatever reason, you need to have the discipline to be able to limit yourself. I feel like a lot of times it isn't actually enforcing our boundaries on other people or communicating it to them. It's more so when people might cross the line, you let them get away with it, or you might even cross your own line and you let yourself get away with it. And you can get a lot more harm out of that. Or you can take a lot more harm out of that.
And that's why most of the time people, especially men, respect women like that.
RESPECT. Respect. What do you mean by respect? I don't know. Respect feels like a nothing word to me a lot of times. As a personal
because they
thing, though.
cannot play with her. They can't. They will leave, and the men and all these people, they know they will leave. And whenever a queen is in a toxic environment, a queen plans her exit. When a queen does not like her situation, she plans her exit.
Okay, this feels so random out of everything else. But okay. You're in a toxic environment, plan your escape, your exit, sure.
I would suggest if you are in a relationship right now or a toxic environment and you simply cannot stay there, then start thinking about how to leave. Because that's what a true queen would do. A queen knows.
We don't simmer on that for too long. I'm very curious why. I feel like we don't. These vague platitudes, I feel like, don't actually help anyone. Like, it doesn't. Like, yeah, you should have a plan before you leave. I feel like this is common sense just reworded in a different way.
Knows how to communicate. A queen does not ask, "Can I?"
A queen does not ask, "Can I?"
A queen says, "I would like."
Weird. The whole point of language is to communicate ideas between one another. Can I versus I would like, they mean the same fucking thing to me. Unless you're English, which yuck, you, hate you English people, get out of here. Stop watching the video. Joking, halfway. 25%. No, sorry. 10% joking. Can I? Would I like? This feels like a fucking English teacher critiquing you when, can I go to the bathroom? Well, can you? I would like to go to the bathroom. Oh, would you like that?
A queen does not say, "You may not like this idea." A queen says, "I have a great idea."
I can say both. I guess sometimes, depending upon the way you phrase things, people can take it well. Um, yeah, be good about communicating, but I feel like also this ties into more of that, like building up a good relationship with people, because I feel like they're more willing to take ideas if you've like done the work to prove like, I'm a good person, I have a good track record, I'm trying to do good things. Sometimes though you do need to lay down the law if you're like a boss or something, like, hey, you're not gonna like this idea, but it needs to get done this way. It just has to be that way. Like,
she knows how to communicate with everybody in
these languages would have to be different too for certain people. Certain people just do better with certain
their
communication
lives
styles.
in order to make them feel important and to make them listen to what she's saying.
Feels like you're using everybody in these kind of like life coaching
She
things.
she says it in such a gentle way that people cannot do anything but listen and are willing to do whatever she's asking because that's how gentle she is.
There's no true strength like being gentle, and there's no true gentleness like true strength. Another vague platitude I've seen on a wolf blanket that had a Native American and a wolf on it. Yeah, I guess. Know how to communicate with people, know how to ask for things. Yeah, true. This is like
That's
basic
how
advice though.
confident she is in her worth and in what she wants. And people gravitate towards that. People love confidence.
Delusion and confidence are two separate things. I feel like a lot of this previous stuff, we are more in the land of delusion than confidence. Confidence is a good, stable building that has a solid foundation but can be rebuilt. You can mortar the cracks in such a way that maybe it's even stronger than it was before, or maybe not mortar, fucking fill it up with some other cement mixture of some sort, whatever your foundation is. um some of this previous stuff though feels more like delusion though, so I feel like it's more toxic. Like if I'm thinking about what she said so far in this video and the previous as a life coach, you have some good ingredients in here, but the combinations and the totality of them all so far is leading me to believe this is more toxic than beneficial.
And other people, they love it. That's why most people are like celebrities.
What is confidence to you? I think is a big thing you should dive into. I think people like celebrities just because they're on the screen, and usually they have some sort of charisma, whether it be visual or tonally or some other thing.
And stuff, if you look at them, why do we find them charming? They just appear very confident.
I think being unconfident sometimes though can be pretty charming. I think one of the reasons why Pedro Pascal seems pretty charming is because he's not always confident, and he does show that vulnerability. I think sometimes true confidence is being fine being vulnerable. That's why I don't like this, is because I feel like at some points you aren't. It's hard to heal a wound that you are babying. Actually, no, because a wound you should be pretty gentle with. Um, certain wounds requiring you taking off all the protective mechanisms you have on it, being vulnerable so you can give it air to breathe, I guess I would say. I'm sure someone can write a more succinct analogy some way or form.
I don't know if they are, but they appear that way. That's why we were obsessed with them. We put them on a pedestal.
We shouldn't, honestly. Why they're just actors. They're just doing a job. I'm not obsessed with my fucking coffee barista. If they do an amazing job, I'm just like, oh, thank you. I really appreciate this. The hero worship or like celebrity worship is cringe. You should not take cues from that. Personally, I don't think you should.
Because they just show you that they feel that they are the best thing on earth. And once you radiate that energy of feeling like you're confident, whatever you say isn't important. You almost have to look at it as whenever you are in a room or something, people are waiting for you to talk.
When you're in a room, people are waiting for you to talk. Delusion. I feel like a lot of this is also tied into the idea that your worth is tied to other people outside of you. You should have some internal value just innately that you can tie into. That can be your, maybe that is your foundation, is just like that internal value of self. Um, why would I care if other people are willing or waiting for me to talk? The only thing that should matter is I know what I'm talking about. I know that it's important. These I feel like are way more important than this.
That's how I like when I am in
Maybe
a group
this
or
just helps
something.
them. I
I
don't know.
always
It's
think like
weird.
these people want me to talk. They just are waiting for me to say something. That's how powerful you have to think about yourself. That's how highly you have to think about yourself.
No, 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 no.
You know what confidence is? Confidence is knowing yourself.
True. Except for you tie in both, like you should know yourself, but also you should have a delusional image of yourself. So, but also you deserve everything in the world. You were contradictory with all of these self-help quotes.
Confidence is knowing who you are.
True.
Because, for example, when I was doing a student job, right? I was working in a restaurant.
A student job working in a restaurant? Okay. Maybe she was in like a culinary school.
The day I was there, I literally was like, yeah, I'm so sorry. I don't know what this is. I don't know what that is. And like when clients would ask me something, I'll be like, oh yeah, I'm sorry, this is my first day, and I'll get red, and I was so shy. 3 months later, I knew how the job worked. I walked around like I was the manager. Anybody could ask me anything, I'll be like, yeah, this is that, this is that, this is that.
She's so vague with it too that leads me to believe that this is a fake story. Slowly over time, I am having more of a negative kind of perception of this lady. The phoniness of this all just creeps in more and more. Quite frankly, it feels so fake. There's no a client called at a restaurant job. It is a student job at a restaurant. No specifics. A client called? What is the moral of this lesson too? Because I take a different one than potentially she might. I'm curious.
Just like that. Why? Because I knew the job.
So confidence is
confident, you have to know yourself.
Okay, I guess.
That's why I'm so hard on start healing yourself, because
so funnily enough, I take a different interesting aspect from that story, even if it's true, but I mostly apply this to myself when I think like at the start, even to this day, I still ask because I'm willing to take in new information. I double check, I triple check just to make sure with my jobs and stuff. If it's something I've done like 1,000 times and I do it daily, absolutely I'll do it. But like I'll double check, like, hey, you want it done this way? Yeah. Okay, we're not switching up anything, cool, just double checking. But that's also because I know sometimes things can change. And I like checking in and making sure. Time seems to be a big element with that. So take some time to know yourself, obviously, but also like practice, repetition, practice, repetition, perfect practice. I used to hate that idea in the past of perfect practice. But I think it's also the person it came from that kind of negatively tinted this for me. We're in a computer lab. Substitute teacher comes in. He is bragging about his niece who can type so fast. And he goes off about, you know how you get good? It's not practice that makes perfect, it's perfect practice that makes perfect. But he never expanded and compounded on that. I think that's why I had such a negative association. Also, too, that guy was just a fucking ass, honestly. But it's true. You should. In dog training, what we do is we have, as we practice more and more certain behavior, every success we should be a bit more towards what we want the final product. So if we take sit as an example, every time I ask for sit, maybe I want them to do it faster. Maybe at the start they do it after 3 seconds with the verbal. Okay, next time they do it, successfully, 2 seconds, 1 second, right away. And then we can start judging other criteria there. That story feels so fake to me. I'm still thinking about that.
Because by healing yourself, you get to know yourself. You get to know certain aspects. Why do I react this way?
True.
Why do I act like this?
True.
Why do I say the things that I do?
True.
And once you establish that, and once you start to realize why you do certain
so this so far,
things,
fantastic.
That's when you become confident in yourself.
No. 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 I don't think I believe. Or no, sorry, I don't agree with this part. Confidence is built slowly over time. Just because you have a revelation about yourself doesn't necessarily make it true. If you know, say, why you like to drink a lot, I want to forget. Oh, now I'm confident about not drinking. No. You're putting the cart before the horse. You need to put in some work and baby steps towards it. Say you are drinking every weekend. Maybe like, hey guys, this might be too big of a step even. I'm kind of struggling with this. I really kind of want to wean off that alcohol. You could ask for your friends like, hey, if you see me ordering like an alcoholic beverage, can you like stop me? Can you do something about that? Or hey guys, we just hang out at my place, no alcohol or anything. If you guys want to bring some for you, it's fine. But I'm trying to abstain for a bit. Like I just want to, chill out for a little bit, see how it does.
I have been called beautiful, and I've been beautiful just for the most part of my life.
Humble flex. Okay. I had.
I've never felt confident. Never, ever did I feel confident because of my outer appearance.
You can be confident in different areas too. I'm very confident now in most aspects of dog training, but I also know I don't work with like violent dogs or dogs who have a very traumatic past. So in that area, I would be unconfident. Do I think some principles I have learned outside of those situations can be applied there? Yes. Am I 100% certain on how effective they are? No. Do I think I'm missing some pieces? Yes. I'm confident in that though. You can even be confident in things you do not know. You can be confident in your position and that it's flexible and it can change.
I only started to feel confident when I started to know who I was, when
True,
I started
you
to
should.
feel myself, when I started to be like, oh, okay, so this is why you did that. Okay, so how do we fix it?
True.
What's the issue here?
True.
Why did you feel that way? Why do you do those certain things? And
That's
once I really started to know myself and my character and started to spend time with myself, that's when I became confident. That's when I was like, oh, I am a great person.
The other thing I feel like is missing in this is the actual work and how long it might take. I feel like sometimes when people are looking for life advice, they expect a quick fix, which is just not realistic or true.
I really am.
I feel like this kind of leads into it, but maybe I'm reading.
A queen never assumes. She just asks why. She is very good in putting herself into other people's shoes.
Which is funny, ironic, because I feel like a lot of the past perspectives, you always view it from your own kind of like, what do I get out of this? Does this negatively affect my future? Instead of being like, damn, it is kind of shitty to backbite. I personally would not like to experience it. I'm sure others wouldn't, so I will, do unto others as I would want to done unto me. Feels strange that we're this late into it.
So she knows that when somebody does something, we might think like, oh my God, they did it out of spite. They did it because they hate me. Maybe that person had a bad day. Maybe that person has something personal going on inside of their life.
When I think about someone writing a story, I feel like every chapter is not nicely ordered after one another. It diminishes the value of the work as a whole. It also starts to lead me to believe that you didn't put in that much thought and effort into this. The order of operations of what she has listed both in her first video and this is very interesting, in either how little thought she put into it, I believe, or telling on how she internally feels about this stuff. Why is it in a 25-minute video, empathy, I would describe it as, or asking why, just call it empathy, is 18 minutes and 50 seconds in?
Why don't we be more compassionate?
Yes.
And care for others? And
yes.
Ask why? What's going on? Why did you do that?
True. You can.
Communicate with people. It's not that hard.
It is hard. It is hard. Communication is hard. We have developed the language. Everybody's developed their own language. There's a bunch of different things. Language is just here to describe experiences for us. It's hard. Understand it's hard. It takes time. It takes practice. It takes understanding from their perspective. Sometimes you're dealing with an incomplete deck as well because you don't fully understand what they all have gone through.
Art. I love to be compassionate. I love to.
It's hard to believe this is true at face value when I feel like there's little compassion in the previous things you have stated.
Understand people. I understand so many people, even like people that are you should not understand. I can't understand them. Because that's how much I feel for others. It's, you know, a queen is just really in her feelings. She can feel for people. But obviously, when somebody disrespects her, she dismisses the whole person. Like, it's done.
Isn't this not really contradictory to what we just said about being empathetic and compassionate? Like, oh, they might be having a bad day. They might be lashing out because they're having a shitty situation. And they're like, oh, you insulted me. Begone, peasant. Behead him. Now, Franklin. Chop, chop.
Done. But she makes sure that she's certain as to why this happened.
Okay.
A queen
all right.
does not chase, she attracts.
Does not chase, she attracts. Women, I'm gonna let you know a quick little secret here. You do not want someone who, actually, men, I'm talking to everybody. This is yikesy. You should always be equal. The attraction should be equal. You should both be interested. You should not act so. You should chase after someone you think is chasing you. You guys should be running a goddamn circle. When I think about like birds and shit, like doing their aerial dances, it shouldn't be one-sided. Like these motherfuckers going together doing their shit, like that's fucking cool. I like that. It should be reciprocal. You shouldn't feel like you're always chasing. Sometimes you should feel like you're chasing and it's very fun, and then the other person's chasing you and you're having fun. Like it should be a back and forth. It should be equal exchange, not. I feel like this is gonna lead into or almost be like an evolution of the like, yeah. You know, I didn't send a text right away. I just wanted to make them struggle for a little bit. Like,
a queen will not chase a man.
You guys are earning a lot more women now, or earning a lot more money now. Women are. You guys need to chase men as well. If you want something, you should chase it. I believe we've talked earlier about having goals and chasing those, but for some reason, a partner is not one of those. You should be open and honest about those things, and you should also have boundaries and rules in place to protect yourself from, you know, the other person and yourself. You should also be realistic about these things. A big tip I will give personally with dating is setting up these rules and boundaries, it makes it so still a gamble. Absolutely. You're tilting it more in your favor every time. There's still a chance it's going to go awful. There's still a chance with her situation where things just go bad. Try to stack the deck the most in your favor. But understand and accept that even if you do everything right, sometimes bad shit happens. You know, it can. Sadly, that is the way of the world. Is sometimes bad shit happens, and no matter how much preparing you can do, it wouldn't be enough. Or even if you did everything right, it might not even be enough. That's not like a moral downfalling of you or anything. That's just like probability. Shit sucks, man. Imperfect world. Sadly, you got to take it on the chin, maybe lay down for a bit, let it run through you, accept that happened, and then right back up.
You can never catch her chasing a man.
Yuck. Yuck.
Ever. If a masculine man wants to be with a feminine woman, a masculine man is gonna chase her.
From what I remember, her and her fiance, probably ex-fiance now, after 3 months, started, or probably sooner than that, fucking, had a kid because she was 4 months pregnant after 7 months of being together. They were engaged. I feel like always being chased leaves you to the vulnerability of only filtering through those who want to chase you. And sometimes those people who are chasing, they actually have flaws in themselves as well. In a perfect society, almost, I feel like no one would innately be chasing one another. You just grow over time together to form attachments and want to pursue it. And then maybe there can be some fun chasing. I feel like there is some sort of lack of confidence if you do not want to chase other people as well.
He is gonna make sure that he chases her, and when he gets her, he will pride himself in it.
It's weird that we don't talk about just having a good relationship. We don't talk about how we should have someone that we treat right and is treated right and treats us right, reciprocal, who loves us and we love them, who's kind to us and we are kind to them. And all these other things. You can show these in different ways. That's perfectly fine. So is everybody's like on the up and up and enjoys it and is fine with it, right? That's just something you as an adult would have to figure out. But why do I have pride having my wife as my wife? Yes. I would never say that though, unless someone asked me, I guess, that question, because I'm just happy being in the relationship. This is weird. Weird, strange.
He'll be like, oh my god, it was so hard, but I got her.
It shouldn't be hard though. It was so hard, bro. After 7 months, we already had a baby at 4 months and we were fiancés. So hard.
That's like a pride for them. A feminine woman, she just knows that whoever comes in her life, whatever opportunity comes in her life, is always for the better. And whatever leaves is also for the better. Because
I don't understand how you can simultaneously have goals that you're chasing for, but then be laissez-faire about this. Contradictory. Like I said, I feel like she has pulled or potentially reworded what other life coaches have had either online or through books and stuff, incorporated it into her own terminology. But I feel like these run counterintuitive to one another, or contradictory, I mean. She trusts God that much. There was a man dying in a hospital. He denied any doctors or nurses, saying, God will cure me, God will cure me. He dies, goes to heaven. He says, God, why did you not cure me? I sent nurses and doctors to help you, and you turned them away. Sometimes you need to also like take an active approach to your life. This is so strange. These I go back to the potion concoction situation. Truly, some of these like negate one another or create negative effects that you would not want.
She trusts God that much. She trusts the universe that much. She knows that whatever.
If you could please take one thing from this video. Universe isn't like cold and unloving. It just is. A rock is not cold and unloving. It just is. A river is not cold and unloving. It just is. Stop trying to personify and personalize these things and especially think they're in your corner. The only thing you have in this world are yourself and the hard work you can do. Don't be so laissez-faire about this. Also, don't think like the universe has your back or is against you. Don't think either. It is ambivalent. It does not care one way or another because it's just it is a thing. Like my fucking microphone doesn't care about me. It just is. It's just a component, an assembling of atoms. Stop. This is cringe. This is
happens is for her better. So she just sits back and she lets whatever happens happen. She does not stress. Because nothing good comes from stressing in practice.
I see her reading off of the nothing good to come from stressing. There's different types of stress. I will say some stress is good. Some stress, like temporarily, can be good as well. That can strive you and push you forward. I can't remember if the literature is still true. Having absolutely no stress. Actually, you know what? I do have one that's good. Some scientists were growing trees in this like perfectly conditioned environment. The trees would only grow so tall though because there's no wind stress pushing them around to build up a hard trunk so they'd actually fall over sooner and be weaker in a way. A little bit of stress is not the worst thing. It's about moderation. It's about understanding what you can handle and tackle and carry. I don't like this. I don't. Every video seems to be getting worse. But also, I feel like how many videos can you have about this?
And why is this so important? Look, when I feel my most feminine and in my energy is when I'm clean. I took a shower.
I love taking showers, by the way. I take like one, potentially two a day, depending upon how sweaty I am. It's just a good little detox thing I like doing. It's not even, it is for being clean, but not like, oh, I need to be clean. I just feel nice. It's comfortable to move around then. Yeah. Do like rituals that help you. So if you enjoy taking a shower, take a shower. Enjoy doing Sudoku or something, do that.
I put on a mask. I have clean clothes on. I put lotion on. That's when I feel really good and clean inside of my body. A queen knows that this is very important. In order to find yourself worthy, you should take care of yourself.
You should take care of yourself. I feel like I could boil down all of these things into like a better, more coherent plan that would be better as opposed to these like feminine energy, and all this other nonsense.
Because otherwise you will not respect yourself. And I know this is something like, this is very hard for some people and they don't want to do it. You will feel bad when you look bad.
I wouldn't say all the time, but yeah, I guess on average, like, I don't know. Also, like your environment is a big thing. Cleaning your room helps out. I don't know why this stuck with me, but like a dirty area is a dirty mind. Not in that way, you pervs. Just in like a cluttered room is a cluttered mind, and you should like try to clean it out. Do spring cleaning. Do maintenance on yourself. Your body is a vessel by which you explore the world. It needs some maintenance every now and then. It needs some tune-ups. It needs some like love, care, and attention. There's also like the psychological part of you that needs some rest and relaxation too. Make sure those two things are going one-to-one or like head-to-head, I mean.
And most of the time people are like, yeah, but I'm just ugly. You're not ugly. You just don't take care of yourself. I think
you might, perception of ugliness aside, You, who knows, maybe you are ugly. I think most people can be like a solid 7, quite frankly, if you do put some care and love into yourself. No matter how much care and love, or not care and love, but just like no matter what your routine is, at the end of the day, if you think you're ugly, I don't know how much of that is actually going to stem from the outside world. I feel like that's more of an internal perception that you perceive, whether it be because you've heard it from other people or other things have happened. You should tackle that though. You should think about that. I feel like we are not solving roots of problems. We solve surface level things with surface level ideas, quite
I
frankly.
think 80% of people, I think 80% of your looks could be improved if you had a healthy lifestyle, if you had a skincare, hair care, and all these things, and you just looked very clean. 80% would look better. And I mean that. Because honestly, for example, I am very clean. I smell good. I always look.
I don't. Someone who only preaches about the good of themselves and never talks about their shortcomings or fallings is also very scary for a life coach. I think you should talk about openly and honestly the areas where you need improvement. I'm not one, so fuck you guys. I'm a perfect individual. I'm not trying to sell you anything, so yes, I'm perfect. Jokes aside, I know sometimes I get irritated in situations where I shouldn't, and I try to like do certain things that help me manage that or preventative stuff. A big thing that sometimes you guys might not be thinking about is just like basic biological stuff. Have you been getting enough sleep? Did you eat recently? Is that why you're irritated? Unironically, hormones do fluctuate and they can affect you in different ways. Like, maybe um fucking you had a bad day at work and that's affecting your rest of the day. Take some time to adjust that and kind of backtrack why you feel so irritated in that movement. Try to understand it, and then depending upon your answer from there, you can do a bunch of different stuff. Sometimes you can just accept it too, or you can kind of pick your battles in that moment. Like, yeah, I had a shitty day at work. My food was shit. It was rotten. Whatever. Um, Almost hit or got hit by somebody in the parking lot. Again, I'm gonna be a little irate when I get home. Obviously, you don't want to like lash out against the people who are there, but like I think it's fine to like let off some of that steam, you know?
Clean. I always look good. Why? Because that's how I just create my.
She talks a lot about her beauty and her good looks and how she's always clean. She's always hyping herself up in a way that feels unconfident, honestly.
Myself. That's how I feel most in my feminine. To get into your queen energy, your divine feminine.
Not the divine feminine and divine masculine.
What I love to do is I take belly dance classes, and I have never
Move your body, enjoy artistic stuff, true.
ever felt more.
Even if you're a person who really enjoys like physical activities, it's not the worst thing to enjoy some other stuff, whether it be reading books, whether it be art stuff, whether it be whatever tickles your fancy. You pick up a hobby, basically.
Comfortable in my body. It's just the way that you're surrounded by these women and you're all just dancing in your body, and it does not matter what other bodies look like. You just feel like so sensual, and it's such a nice feeling. I would suggest to get into your queen energy, like take up some dancing, painting.
Do what you enjoy. Definitely broach out to do subjects though.
Like whatever makes you feel creative, whatever.
I truly do believe variety is the spice of life. Um, I'm a person who tried just about anything once, barring like stuff that's like illegal or that could harm me long term for a long time, especially depending on those percentages. One thing that I'm pretty open about is I wouldn't mind taking some mind altering substances like shrooms or MDMA or something like that, just because I think it would give me a different perspective. But also, I understand that I don't have that addictive of a personality type. So I understand that I'm lucky in that regard. So you do have to kind of understand yourself to do some calculations for that. And stuff like that might change too over time. Be fine with change. Be fine with change. Also, do be creative. Being creative is very nice. It's very, I don't have a better word for it, so I'll use soul in like an agnostic sense. It just feels good inside, you know?
Makes you flow, like whatever makes you let loose of all these harsh things that the world tries to put on you.
I don't know how we simultaneously talk about universe and God being on our side and how we can materialize things, but also the world is hard on us.
Try to engage in that. If you don't feel comfortable dancing in a dance class, dance in your room.
True.
I just
Pop some tunes and do a little
it
jig.
just feels, I cannot explain it. If you go and do it, you'll feel it. You'll really feel it. A queen also knows that no means not yet.
What the fuck does that mean? No means not yet.
If she goes after a job opportunity and they say no, she says okay. She does not cry about it. She does not go insane.
You can cry about it. Yeah, don't get insane, but like if you had your hopes up, it'd be fine to be crushed here and there. It's just picking yourself up after. These people, I think another thing that reeks of insecurity is not that you can't, it feels like you can't feel these emotions that are very human and very real. Like if I applied to like Harvard and I felt like I built up a good GPA and like all these other things that usually tend for people to be successful there or get accepted, and then I don't get accepted, I would be crushed. Obviously, pick yourself up after, but in that moment, it's fine to be crushed. The problem itself is not being crushed, it's just making sure you pick yourself up after. The problem is not, cooking an egg in a frying pan. The problem is burning it. Just make sure you don't stay there for too long. Make sure you can, like, after the pieces have shattered together, or however metaphor you want to do this, you assemble them back together. We are things that can break. Whoever, I don't know how strict people are with the term break on this, but like we can have falls and then pick ourselves up and be better for it, or that changes our path in life and we can understand and adapt. Just adapt.
And be like, oh no, why? And like yell at people. No. She's very calm and she thinks to herself, okay, if it's not this job, somebody else will want me.
I don't know the dismissal of having these feelings. It feels strange. Like you can't actually sit with these and like process them. A personal story of mine is we some customer dropped off a baby red iguana. I got really attached to him. Name was Ignis. Um, or sorry, Brim for short for Brimstone, naming convention we like to use. Um, he was not eating. He tragically passed after a couple of days of having him, for who knows what reason. It's hard to tell sometimes with reptiles. I was very attached to the idea. I gave myself some time to grieve. And even now, it's a little sore, yes, but like, on to the next thing. Like, it sucks. I did my time, being sad about it, and then gonna keep going, sadly, because there's more to life than that. Like, your shittiest moment now doesn't define the rest of your life. You got more to look at forward to after.
Why? Because I'm worthy. I'm worthy of being wanted. I am good enough.
Sure.
Obviously.
For a self-help thing, I feel like there's not actually a lot of building. It feels very delusional still. I know it's probably a bad word to use, or people might feel strongly about this, but like, have a solid foundation so you know you are. Don't just say it. I want you to be able to prove to me you're a good person. Like, oh yeah, like my friends, they all love me. Whenever they're feeling down, I hang out with them. It's fine if you have a little insecurity, but like, yeah, I could do more though. That's fine. Don't just say I deserve it all without having like receipts,
A queen works towards her goals, but she will never chase something that does not want her. She will make sure that she goes after her dreams, she goes after her goals.
And we're back to going after stuff when before we were talking about just sitting and waiting. I don't understand why we can have those things simultaneously.
But whenever something bad happens, she also knows it's for the better and whatever comes next will be good.
Don't just assume. You have to orient yourself in such a way that you are heading in a good direction. Like, this feels so like out of your hands. I feel like some people are gonna feel bad and like the universe hates them because the good things are not coming. But like at the end of the day, you do have to put in your own work. And you go back and forth on like, oh no, hard work just doesn't seem to be mentioned that much in this, or like dedication or discipline or like anything that I think would actually be useful, like building a routine, making sure like you understand stuff. Yes, but it feels like lightly, ever so lightly touched on, and then we like pull back.
That's how much she trusts the universe and trusts God. And that's how much a queen trusts herself. I just want to say that being a queen is your birthright. Every woman is born with the power of being in her feminine energy. And if you can cultivate this power and get more in tune with it, that's when you will see your life just become a whole different level. Everything you want will start to manifest. And that happened with me. Because when I was in my masculine, nothing would work. Nothing. Not relationship, not.
Well, certain trends seem to keep on being the same. If relationships aren't working, if work's not working, you are the common denominator. It's not the worst thing to kind of check in on that and see if there's something you can change. True, but also like switching from masculine to feminine energy is a weird way to put this.
My business would work, obviously, but
Oh,
it was
but that would
like
work.
coming and going. And now, when I'm more in my feminine energy, every single desire I have manifests.
Yikes.
And I feel good on top of it. Isn't that a beautiful thing? Okay, guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed.
I did not enjoy this video. I'm gonna check comments because comments are there. No hate to anybody. I'm just curious. No, English isn't your first language, and you try to summarize this. Interesting. Honor your body is cute. Is a cute way to put it. I'm not gonna take any I truly wonder how much of this really helps people. If like this is enough to change your mind. I feel like you need a lot more introspection and like digestion to really incorporate this in. Okay. Queens can recognize queens. Sure. What if you're getting snake though? I feel like this is such a we do not compete with each other, we compete with ourselves. Sure. Sure. Okay. Every day I'm productive, I'm fast, I'm always wanting to achieve my goals. I just can't relax. Can't be no girl. I rarely take because I can't chill without guilt. I'm happy that I realized my problem though. Yes, just chill. This whole masculine feminine thing is fucking weird though. She's this confident, strong, authentic friend everyone. How? She does not feel confident. She doesn't feel strong to me. She does not feel authentic to me. This all feels so phony to me. I can't believe people believe this. Kind of made me fear men, the damage they can do. I don't see how these two things connect, but okay. And the damage they can do, so it naturally made me lean more into my masculine energy, so I knew I had the control. But as I met the man, God destined. Yikes. It's cute that these people are writing notes, I will say. I'm 11, and although I might... This is weird. I hate... This feels, as soon as you lead with your age or something like this feels confident, quite frankly. Oh, I'm a cool 11-year-old. I've always had this problem, though. No bully to the 11-year-old. Phasing a bombshell 777. I wonder what that's a reference to. Sydney, she told me that the only reason implies it takes me from the book Divine Super Diva. Ugh. Quite honestly, I feel like we run into a problem with people who are successful and then they try to look back and try to analyze why they are quite frankly, I think it's luck in a lot of cases, and they just don't want to either admit it or understand that for some people. And you should just like be honest with that. Like, right place, right time. Obviously, there's a skill element because depending upon your skill level, that broadens the possible horizons from which you could have those situations happen. So I don't know. Ending thoughts. This person does not feel authentic to me. This person does not feel confident to me. Um, this is like the female equivalent of when I see men look up to like Andrew Tate. Obviously, Andrew Tate's a lot worse of a person, no debate there. But like, yeah, it feels like what you would think you need, kind of thing. It feels like if I were to go through all these dramas and cinemas and stuff, that's a lesson I would take, and it's not actually helpful. Like youth. I don't know how to word it. Anyways, that's it for this time. Bye bye.